Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, my name is Heather Lewis and today we are going to be making over an IKEA piece. So I've done IKEA pieces in the past, but I don't know if I've really got down to the specifics of what you should be doing different and what remains the same when you are making over a furniture piece. So if that's something that you are interested in, just keep on watching. This is the piece that we are going to be working on in this video. It is very obvious that it is an IKEA piece. It has 4 drawers and even has the stickers to prove it's from IKEA. At first glance, it looks to be in really good condition, and for the most part it is, other than what looks to be some bad milk stains or something on the drawer fronts that just won't come out. And it may be hard to see, but I promise they're there. The very first step to this makeover is taking off the hardware. I really recommend not doing anything until that is done. As I'm taking the hardware out, I want to let you guys know that there are going to be 3 major things that I am going to be emphasizing on in this video to make sure that you are able to successfully refinish a IKEA piece. Once all the hardware off, the first thing that I'm going to emphasize is make sure your piece is clean. You do not want to have paint on it. It will absolutely show through if you have any dirt or anything. So I'm just using Dawn dish soap and getting ready to clean this piece off super thoroughly. And actually, I did already clean this piece off prior to the video, trying to get those milk stains out, and I wasn't even going to record this video. It was supposed to be just a quick one-day flip, but after I saw that those milk stains or whatever it was not coming out, I thought this would be a perfect learning opportunity and decided to make it into a video. As always, make sure you're always going back and rinsing it with just regular water. You don't want to have those soap suds left behind either, because that can also show up in your paint. And then I'm just going ahead and taking the drawers out. You can do this before or after you start cleaning. In this case, I did it after. Now the second thing I'm going to emphasize on is sanding your piece down. I only showed you the aftermath, but I did sand with a medium grit sandpaper. You want to make sure you're doing this because especially on these IKEA pieces, there is such a smooth finish. If you throw paint on, there will be nothing to grip to. Okay, so we are now at the step where we need to start priming. Yes, you're still going to want to prime stuff that are IKEA. And sand as well, because that's just going to help everything stick. Sanding helps the primer stick, and then the primer helps the paint stick. So you want to make sure that you're not skipping any of these steps, but we are going to be using my go-to, the 123 primer from Zinsser. I'm always using this stuff, but I think after this gallon, I'll try to switch it out so that there's a wide variety of primers that you guys know about and can try out for yourselves. But I do have it in my container here. I switched out the tin foil and it's ready to go. I did see in my comments though that you can tint your primer with the paint that you are using. So I'm gonna go ahead and put some of Dixie Belle's Caviar in there because that is what we are going to be painting on this dresser. I have never done this before. I know you can get your primer tinted at wherever you get your primer from, but I have never actually tinted it myself, so we're gonna go ahead and do that. I'm not exactly sure how much I'm supposed to use, so we're just gonna trial and error it. That's kind of what you always do for the first time you're trying something, but I'm just taking this stir stick. I'm gonna make sure it's stirred up first, and then I think I'm just gonna kind of dab a little bit in there at a time. See how that works. Okay, it is definitely darker than what it was before. You can see it's more of like a light gray color. I think we're gonna start with this I think this is going to be good enough for now, just because I'm not sure. I haven't like looked into if I really should be putting paint in your primer. So we're just gonna try it out, and then I'll know for next time. If it does work well, then I can go ahead and do it again and make it a little bit darker next time. To keep you guys in the loop, tinting the primer with the paint that I was using actually worked really well. And actually, I would encourage you to use a little bit more paint if you're doing a darker color. I think if I would have put more paint into this, the primer would have been even better. And as far as I've seen, those of you who said I should be doing this, you were totally right, and I'm probably going to be doing this from this point on. And third thing I'm going to emphasize is prime your piece. I didn't want to talk over myself, but you should be doing this because any little scratches, if you don't prime, it'll show right through. Now that the primer is dry, I am using my Dixie Belle paint in Caviar. I love how matte this black is, and I'm also going to be using my zebra brush. It looks pretty dirty, but it's actually clean. It's just tinted from other paint. And so now I'm just going ahead and getting this first coat of paint on. After this first coat of paint was on and dry, I moved into the second coat of paint. And if you ever feel like your paint is uneven or smooth, this goes along with primer as well, but you can sand in between coats. Just take a medium grit. I didn't feel that I had to do that. Usually my finishes or my coats turn out pretty smooth, so I didn't have to worry about that. After the second coat was drying, I did go outside to spray paint the existing hardware. I did debate just getting new hardware, but I didn't want to spend the money on it, so I am going ahead and spray painting it with gold. This is my favorite gold spray paint, so I'm just doing one side like that, and then I'll flip it over and do the next side. Okay, so it is now the next day. I am completely breaking out, so just ignore that, but it does look like the drawers have dried really nicely with that second coat, so I'm going to go ahead and show you that. Here it is. I love the Dixie Belle's paint here, especially this black. It is just so matte and sleek, and I absolutely love it. But this is how it's looking. Excuse the mess. It is always kind of busy mid-project here, so that's what we're dealing with. Okay, so now that we've gotten the hardware spray painted, it's time to go ahead and top coat, especially on IKEA pieces or pieces that aren't real wood, but really any piece you should be top coating. You can scratch this paint off still if you aren't putting this protective layer on top. So I always, no matter what piece it is, I go ahead and I put a top coat on. Now, I like to use my polyacrylic here. I like to use clear matte. I love pieces that have less shine to them. But this was the old can. I do think they have changed up their can. From what I know, this is the exact same thing. It's clear matte, polyacrylic. They've just changed it up, so you can see it's a little bit different, but that's okay. So we're gonna go ahead and use this, and if you've watched any of my videos before, you know exactly what I'm about to do. This can is pretty much empty. I don't know, we were kind of scraping for paint at the end here, so I am just gonna use what's left on the edges and open this up. So I got my screwdriver, and I'm just opening this up. Now you should always be stirring your poly, your paint, your primer, but especially with a new can here, you want to make sure that you're doing that because this could have been sitting on the shelf for months and all of the important stuff could have gone down to the bottom. So I'm just making sure to really stir this up so that I've got it all together and everything that I need is going to be going into this dresser. Okay, so now without making this a huge mess, I'm gonna pour some of the poly into here and I'm gonna try to do it, oh, just what I thought. Okay, so now that that's happened, I need to hurry up and clean this off because poly does dry super fast. Alright, well we have that part sealed already now, so there's that. Right as I say don't make a mess, and my camera is just not angled right either. Okay, 1 second guys. Well, now that we have our poly situation figured out, I'm gonna go ahead and start putting this on. As soon as I get my paintbrush out of this bag, I'm gonna mix it in with the paint here. As I said earlier, poly does dry super fast, but more so it gets tacky very fast, so you want to make sure that you're working fast and not going over it too many times because it can make the top uneven. So just going through the minimum amount of times as you need to, and that'll give it a pretty smooth finish. This is the last drawer that I'm putting poly on, so I'm going to start wrapping it up here. I do have the hardware all done, and I'm getting it all put back together to show you guys the final reveal. I'm so excited about this piece. I really loved how it turned out. So with that being said, let's get into the final reveal. I think that this piece turned out really well, and I've just proven that you can not only do just wood pieces, but you can also refinish IKEA pieces as well. There are just some things that can't come out, like the milk that was on those drawer fronts. I just couldn't get those out no matter how much I washed it. So instead of just having to look at those, I was able to paint over them, making it look like a whole brand new piece. If you guys are interested in any of the materials that I use, make sure you look down in my description box, as I will have everything listed and you can go and check them out for yourselves. Unfortunately, I don't have a discount code for you guys for the Dixie Belle paint, but I do have it listed down below, and I would love it if you use my link to get the paint, and it is no extra cost to you. I just get a commission for it. One last thing before we get into the numbers. I want to take just a quick second here to thank this anonymous person for buying me some coffees. Although I'm not really sure who you are, I know that you know who you are, and this is a great way to help support my channel. The money given here is used to buy different materials so that the content can be different each week. If you'd like to support my channel, I'll leave a link to it in my description box down below. Also, the comments are a really great way to tell me what you'd like to see next, so if you feel like you have something in mind, let me know down there. But now let's get back into the video. Now that we've done that, let's talk about the numbers for this piece. So I actually got this IKEA dresser on Facebook Marketplace for $20. Then pretty much everything else I've already had. I've already had the paint, the primer, I've already had the top coat, I've even had the wallpaper as well. So I'm really not gonna have to put that into price because I can't even remember what I've bought it for at this point. I've had those materials for so long. If you want to say another $20, go ahead. So $40 all in. As for selling the piece, I'm going to be selling it on Marketplace for around $250 to $275. We're going to start there. It is still an IKEA piece at the end of the day. It is not solid wood, so I may have to lower the price a little bit because most people want that nice solid wood quality. I'll put it up there in that range, and I'll see how my local market takes it and go from there. Now, if you like this type of content, please make sure that you are giving it a thumbs up and subscribing to my YouTube channel. We are so close to 2,000 subscribers, and I can't believe how fast this is going on. So I just want to say thank you guys, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.